that dream is green. And I don't mean material things. Freedom to the land, child, woman, and man. As we take up for what we stand. Better days and better nights. As we stand and unite. We're one and the same. Why is it so hard not to point and to blame? Better sheet, get our houses in order and we'll see the peace. There are steps that we must take if we wanna see.
I see my people rising, no more stopping us. Couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us.
The sake of us, the sake of us.
I see my people rising, no more stopping us. Couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. No more failing, telling me beneath. What a beautiful moment, and a sight I can't wait to see. Even if I miss it, at least I was a part of the mission. Changing lives of men, women, and children. All glory goes to He that causes us all to be. Oh, and if they're thinking we can, show them that just as long as we stand, a monument. We the people can't be broken as long as we stay focused. I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. For the sake of us. I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. I see my people rising, yeah.
Shalom, shalom. אני מתפלל שהכל בסדר אתכם הלילה. I pray all is well with you all tonight or this evening. This is the part 2 to relationship challenges in our communities. What seems to be the problem? And as I was listening to the song, the anthem that me and my Ishai did, My People Rising, I really believe in that, right? I really believe that that's going to happen. And I believe that we are rising bit by bit, even right now, not on a large scale, not even close. I actually think we're rising and declining a little bit in certain areas, but the part that I believe that's going to happen later, I hope it would be nice to see it happen now. But if it doesn't happen now, we have to be the reason that it does, right? Just listening to that song and thinking about this topic that we're speaking of today, it just really hit, talking about this topic that can be negative, looked at as negative. I actually look at this conversation more positive than negative because it gives an opportunity for us to discuss it. It gives an opportunity for us to come together and figure out these things that we need to do to address the issues realistically and to address these issues or practically and address these issues so it can improve. So for those of you that's coming back on this one and you haven't seen the first one, you have to go to the first one to really see all that I was presenting. I am not going to go through all of them like I did the first one. I might just read the different points concerning this topic. I'll read the 9 points for discussion. Interestingly enough, it turned out to be more numbers for some reason because of I don't understand the PDF or whatever it might be. But I just want to go through them. But I will say this. This post was needed. This topic was needed. There are men and women that are tired of this, leaders and teachers that are tired of this. And I believe that us as leaders and teachers, we need to come together, hit points differently, bring the points together and make it united so it can come before the people balanced, right? So they could get a grasp and an understanding of it. So again, this conversation was needed. The points that was brought out by the original post was actually correct. I mean, it can be perceived a certain way. I had to respond and say, I don't believe that it's the way that it's perceived, that it's that. But, or in addition to, I just wanted to speak on it. I wanted to land back off of it and bring House of Balance Ministries, Obed Mazan Ministries points out concerning this matter that we have been speaking on for years and attempting to help the community with these, because this is one of the biggest issues, right? I remember having a conversation years ago. I'm talking about, well, it wasn't years ago. It was like 2020, 2021. I had this conversation. Shalom for those that's tuning in right now. Please subscribe. Please share it. And if you haven't watched the first part, this is the second part of a continuation of this topic, relationship challenges in our communities. What seems to be the problem. So I'm going to go through the points, but I'm not going to go through it like I did in the first part. So you have to watch the first part. But I remember I was talking to another leader earlier on when around the time I had started elevating in ordination, and they was talking about a doctrine. We're always talking about these doctrines. When does the Shabbat start? Moedim, appointed times. When are they? X, Y, and Z. We're removing each other. Or do we believe in the Mashiach, or do we not believe in the Mashiach? All these different things we're focused on, which those are not the pinnacle things. Those are the pillars, sure, but those are not the things that's going to get us closer to the Most High. Those are not the things. Understand what I'm saying? Let me finish. Those are not the things that's going to get us closer to each other. A lot of times when the Most High is telling us to circumcise our mind, not a lot of times, all the time, is dealing with relationship and true servitude. That's what it's dealing with. So I remember speaking and saying like, hey, it is people outside of this community and inside of this community that has the knowledge like no other. They know the precept upon precept, line upon line, but the relationships are failing. Relationships are failing. I was saying this in 2018, 19, the relationships are failing. I was saying it way before then, but when I talked to this particular leader, I'm like, the relationships are failing. We're worried about all this doctrine and stuff, which is needed. There's a place and time for that. But what good is it if our structure, our foundation is not sustainable? What good is it? So now we got to get to the foundation. What is the core? So I'm going to go through the 9 points, but I'm not going to commentate over it like I did in the first part. You have to go back to the first part. Okay. So in the first part, I had started off by saying the false balance is abomination to the Most High. So when we're presenting these things, we have to present it in a way that the people can really grasp it. Again, I agree with the post that brought it out. From what I know about the individual that posted, he loves the people. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing in regards to that. And then I also stated that we are, as B'nai Yisrael, men and women alike, we are unrighteous, we're wicked, we're evil, we don't even know it. And I feel like sometimes I want to come up with a different term, because as soon as people hear evil, wicked, or righteous, unrighteous, then, it's like putting up a cross or something to not hear what's being said. But these are the very things that we read in the scripture. So here's the points. And once I get to the last point that I stopped at on the first part, then I'll start going into detail. Okay. So the first part was number one was absence of communal accountability. Absence of communal accountability. The community serves as the safeguard for righteousness. And that's a righteous community, by the way. Without accountability, individuals fall into patterns of sin and relational failures. The patterns continue because there's no foundation, there's no accountability, right? It's no willing to accept that accountability. So most of us that are by ourselves, we fail because we don't have a community that's holding us accountable. And again, a lot of people they run from it, and I think sometimes it becomes an excuse. But I do know a lot of people have been hurt. I get it. That's the hard part. So it doesn't help because now these people have been hurt by communities, by congregations, and then all of a sudden now they pull themselves away, and now it adds more to them because it's less accountability. So we need to figure out a way to rectify that. I spoke on that in the first part, how to. Number two is resistance to receiving accountability. So you may have accountability set before you, but you don't want it. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to be a part of it. You want to continue to move how you move. This goes for women and this goes for men. So even when guidance is offered, many resist correction from elders, family, or righteous peers, undermining their own growth and protection. So you're just removing it right there. You're pulling the chair right from under you when you do that. Sometimes there's going to be things that you don't like that's said or instructed or suggested. So let's keep going. The next one was lack of structure and spiritual guidance. Lack of structure and spiritual guidance without defined processes. These things have to be defined. How are you going to go about it? Has to be proven to work. All of these things, if we have came into this truth, so-called truth, it is a truth, but we have created our own truth within it. If we came in it, we have residue from where we came from. So we need to be around someone or some people that are righteous and have defined processes to help us overcome, right? So without defined processes, teaching or leadership, people wander aimlessly. They wander from one to the other, men and women, vulnerable to mistakes in relationships and covenantal obligations. Vulnerable to it. You're going to fall into it. It's a chance you will, more susceptible to it. Because there's no one to help you, no one to guide you, no one to give you structure before you're moving. Okay? And a lot of us don't know about covenant. So how can we have covenantal obligations if we haven't went and learned these things? We already been messing up in the world. And we just brought it over here, still moving on our own, being a part of organizations through YouTube, being a part of organizations just by showing up to Moedim or appointed times, feast days, or just coming a couple Shabbatot, Sabbaths. That's not community. It's not culture, but we deem it as that. We think it's that. Deficiency in leadership presence. That's the next one. Elders, mentors, and spiritual leaders are essential for modeling righteousness, enforcing boundaries. A lot of times the things that's happening to us because we didn't have the proper boundaries. We didn't set the proper boundaries. If men mess up, especially like what if it was a good man? And well, that's subjective, right? But his mind was set to do right, but for the simple fact it was no boundaries present, no eldership that he brought forth, which he should have, or no elders or teachers in the place of both of them. Now that lack of boundaries have caused them to mess up, and now it deems both of them or one of them wicked, unrighteous. These things are important. All right. Peace to you who just tuned in right now. This is part 2. I'm just briefly summarizing part one with the 9 points that I have in place for this topic: relationship challenges in our communities. All right, let's go. Neglect of relationship education. Neglect of relationship education. This is something that's very interesting, right? Neglect of relationship education. A lot of us are just getting into relationships. We're creating our own way of doing courtships. We have nothing in place. I remember before even meeting my Ishai, it was already something written out. You know, the Most High had some people. You know, it's what's interesting. You'll hear people say, "Well, we didn't have ketubas." That's something that the Israelis, the rabbinical people do. Where did they get it from, though? How did the Most High operate with us? Right, showed us what He can do in Mitzrayim. Then, before we got in the covenant with the Most High, He asked us, "Are you going to do all these? This is what I expect. This is my expectation of you." And we say yes. Right? We see that took place with Rebecca. It was like, okay, or Ribka, however you want to say it. Okay, well, do you want to go with him? Yes. It wasn't forced. People was in place to be there for her. The difference with us today, we're just coming together. Even in congregations today, they're not, well, I'm not going to say all, some are, but most aren't. So it's a lot of failure due to it, right? So neglect of relationship education conferences, seminars, and teachings that strengthen covenantal understanding. Strengthen the covenantal understanding. If you don't understand covenant, then how can it be strengthened? How can you survive without a true covenant? What are the stipulations? What needs to be in place? How should we move with all these different scenarios and subjects when we have children, when we don't have children? All these different things. Is it being talked about? The very intricate parts. So conferences, seminars, and teachings that strengthen covenantal understanding and relational skills, leaving individuals unprepared for healthy monogamous or polygynous relationships. This stuff needs to be in place because people are going to do it. They're going to do it. It's been around forever. Monogamy really been pushed. I'm not going to get into that. That's a doctrinal issue I don't want to speak on. But what I do want to address is that we need to have layouts of how to operate within it. Because the truth of the matter is, even if you don't have it, the relational outlook or the relationship. Why I can't talk right now. We just got from the gym. I am tired, y'all. Whew, the relational skills. That's what I meant to say. Is not being fulfilled because we have not grown in that skill. All right. Now, I think this was the last one right before I left, and that was overemphasis on personal autonomy. While adult responsibility is important, unchecked independence can reject communal wisdom, divine instruction, and accountability. Independence has to be checked because that was never supposed to have been a Yisrael was supposed to move. We were always supposed to be amongst one another. We saw it often, tribes around each other, close quarters, protection, accountability, righteous challenging, respect to positions. Of course, there were people that didn't like it, people that rebelled, but it still was present. That's what we're missing. All right, let's go to the last three. The last three is lack of trust in Hamelech HaElion's covenantal process. Lack of trust in Hamelech HaElion, or Yah's covenantal process. Doubting the divinely established path for relationships and life often leads to self-directed choices that result in failure. So what does this mean? All throughout the scriptures, it talks about how to treat a woman. It talks about what not to make them. But a lot of times when we're moving alone, there is a chance that you fall into doing this. A lot of times when you're moving alone, even if you are a man or a woman that is trying to do right, when you're moving alone, you fall into this. Okay? We only got 3 more left. So this third to the last one is lack of trust in Hamelech HaElion, or the Most High's covenantal process. Doubting the divinely established path for relationship and life often leads to self-directed choices that result in failure. Okay, so what divinely established path is it that we have as men when it comes to women? What divinely established path do we have as women when it comes to men? It's across the board. It's there all throughout scriptures. But the most important one, especially for the men, it talks heavily and often about not causing the women of Zion to go down a path of making them, lack of a better word, a harlot, even though they're not a harlot. I'm not saying that, but you're causing them to go outside of our structure, right? They're supposed to be loved. All of these different things. So now you have 2 individuals that may have been trying to do it themselves. It failed, right? Let's move that to the side. Let's pocket that really quickly. Let's go to let's go to when before we came in this path. You got 2 people coming together. They loved each other. They liked each other. It failed. Then when they fail, they start talking negative and bad about each other, saying this man is this or this woman is this, right? That's a real life situation that happened. I'm sure a lot of us know about. Some of us may have done it. This man or this woman has turned into the most wicked person. Some of you that's watching this right now have not seen the first part, so you may not know why I'm saying this or where it's coming from, or you missed a whole lot. The first thing I started off with was that we are acting and are moving unrighteously, wicked, and evil. We have wicked, evil, unrighteous men, and guess what? We do with women as well. But the topic of discussion is true. The post is true. But I brought out another side to it. I'm talking about the 9 points, and you might have to go to the first video to really catch up. And I just did a summary of the first 9 points. So I really hope you all look at the first one to really get what I brought out. All right. So doubting the divinely established path for relationship and life often leads to self-directed choices that result in failure. The last 2 are this: ignorance of true covenant principles. Without understanding covenantal commitments, individuals cannot honor relationships, obligations, or divine expectations. Ignorance of true covenant principles. Most of us in this walk are ignorant to true or of true covenant principles. What do I mean by that? Yes, we read the scripture. We know the word covenant. We hear it. But when it comes to our lifestyle, we are ignorant to it because we don't move righteously in the culture. We don't understand the culture because we're a part of a culture that we're more invested in. So we don't understand how to move as a covenant. When dealing with a covenant, right, with Bnei Yisrael, we're dealing with that covenant. they always swore to the Most High. When they made an agreement, when they made a covenant, they swear in the Most High's name. What that typically would do for someone that truly that feared the Most High, even those that was wicked. Do you know it's crazy? Those of us today that's unrighteous, wicked, and evil, because it is a lot of us in our community that is. It's a lot of righteous ones, some righteous ones too, but it's a lot of us that's unrighteous and wicked, and we don't know it. We think that term can't amount to us. But I will say this: those that were that back then was more humble than us today, and they feared the Most High more, even though they were rebellious too. Some will say that's because they saw it more. God, goodness gracious. Okay, cool. So the covenant, when they made a covenant, they often would swear in the Most High's name. So that would establish something that, okay, if you decide not to do this, then you know you're out of it. You know something's going to happen to you. The problem is today we don't have that. We don't believe that. We don't believe something's going to really happen. We have no accountability yet. I talked about this in the first one, so you got to watch the first one. And I really went in on the first one, but now I'm dying it down a little bit, or down, however you want to say it. So we don't have that fear or reverence in the Most High like we believe we do. Because if we did, the last part that I said, it says, doubting the divinely established path for the Most High for relationships and life often leads to failure-directed choices that result in failure. We would not treat each other the way we do. We wouldn't just run when something happens. We wouldn't throw away our quote-unquote wife. We wouldn't throw away our quote-unquote husband, right? One of the things I brought out in the first one, I showed you a book. And in that book, I brought out life lessons before life happens. In that book that I wrote, I put out matters that can help women choose properly. And then in the other book I brought out, I'm trying to pull it up so I can see it. Where is Facebook? Okay. The other one is The Way of a Righteous Community and Rules for Protection. It's coming out soon. Protection. Why is the protection important? Because a lot of the women need protection today. They need protection from the men that are wicked, unrighteous, evil, and they need protection from themselves. They need protection from themselves. This is not, I'm not saying nothing, well, I'm saying the truth. I'm not saying nothing to downplay a woman, because that's not true. We had righteous women in our community in the Tanakh that did amazing things and saved us a lot of times. I could name 4 of them right now, and 4 instances right now. But they were in and within a community. They honored the Most High completely. They served the Most High completely. They was in a communal setting that was they understood covering. They understood covering. They allowed accountability to happen. They listened to father, cousin, brother, kinsman. They listened to these things. So that's why I'm putting that book out, showing protection, because the protection is from the wicked men and the protection is from themselves. So when we're thinking and saying someone is being manipulated and all that other stuff, I understand and I get it. But who was there to protect them? And if they're not wanting to be protected, we have to figure out a way now. And you know what? We're not going to figure it out, because most of us live states away, cities away. Most women live by them, have their own place and spot. They're moving by themselves. How much accountability can we, and how much protection can we have? They're driving by themselves and going places, and some of them are getting snatched and kidnapped and all that stuff. That's not in our culture. That's not righteous Israelites. Well, we're in exile. Well, they were in exile too, in the Medes and Persian days, Babylonian days, Greek days, Roman days. But I guarantee you they were still around someone. They did not move alone. So when you have our women so used to moving alone, and if they have someone that is saying you should not do this, and all you do is see them at Moedim, appointed times, feast days, y'all call it. All of them are not feasts, by the way, only a couple of them, few of them. That's why it's appointed times. Going to Shabbat or Shabtot and watching a couple teachings like what I'm doing right now. But their day-to-day life is by themselves. How? They would have to be a woman that is super focused on being righteous, super focused on trusting an elder or a teacher, not the man that they like. Because some people will say to me, well, the men did this, and I get it. I 100% agree with that. But who else was in their corner? What congregation were they a part of? Who are the leaders that's over them? Before you let them in, did they agree to allow you to cover them? And in that covering, did they release or relinquish a certain autonomy to you as their covering, like our women back then did? These instructions was in place for a reason. So yes, the men should be came at. We should get at them. But the truth of the matter is we need to get at our women, not because they're wicked or what they're doing something wrong. When I say get at them, I'm talking about protect them in some capacity. And it needs to be done by righteous men, righteous congregations, righteous elders. And that term is thrown around a lot. I get it. Righteous, righteous, righteous. Who can you believe? Who can you trust? Had a conversation about that the other day. We was going on after Shabbat. We went all the way to about 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. And that's disheartening to me because I understand that point. Like, who can you trust? Who is righteous? And this is the reason why so many people are moving by themselves and don't even know when they're moving by themselves, they're more susceptible to fall or fail and to get these topics that's happening today. I know for a fact on many occasions out of the 14 years that I've been in this, how many times I've seen, I've heard, and I told people, you shouldn't do that. This is going to happen if you do that. And you know what they will say? Yeah, I know you're right. I won't. And then they'll end up doing it. And then guess what happens? It happens to them. So how do you actually protect them? I have my idea. I have my thoughts. And I have what the direction we're going to go in with our ministry, our assembly. But the answer is in the scriptures, y'all. The reason we just got two more to read. I'm just going in a little bit on this last one we read. Until we truly grasp and go into what something like Jeremiah 29 speaks on, until we understand what Malachi talks about on how you do the woman and what you're not supposed to do, all these things, until we fear that, reverence that, and understand that, this is going to continue to happen. Even those that try to protect, those of us that try to protect, those of us that try to teach, those of us that try to go before them and speak, it's going to ultimately be up to them because of where we're at. They're not relinquishing their autonomy to you. Nor are the men. They're not relinquishing their autonomy to you. I was talking when I had taught or spoke this past Shabbat. I remember one of the men, me and Chief Prince Abulin was outside speaking, and I forgot to even tell this to my Isha. We was outside speaking, and one of the guys came up to us. He was talking to us, this and that, and then he had said, "Yeah," he said, "This is your leader right here, right?" And I didn't say anything. I just let the conversation go. And, of course, Chief Prince was like, no, but I didn't respond to that. I didn't say, no, he's not, right? I have my own, me and my Isha, we have our own congregation, our own assembly, right? But Chief Prince Abulin is the one that ordained me and then elevated me over the years. So he is a mentor. He is a teacher. He is an elder. So this other man that I never met said, well, I remember you was up there teaching and you gave honor to him. So, this is your leader. And I didn't say no because I understand the importance of leadership and teachers and those before you and elders, certain reverence and being able to listen to them when they bring certain things out, even if you don't agree fully, but what they're bringing out can still apply to your life to help. Many of us won't do that. We'll do that just when we visit. Again, I'm sounding redundant when I say this. We'll do that just when we come to Shabtot or Sabbats. We'll do that just when we come to Moedim. We'll do that just when we're responding on platforms like this. But we're not doing that in private. We're not moving like that in private. We'll say that we hear you, but we won't do it in private. So now us as leaders and teachers feeling a certain way about our people or the Most High's people, wanting them to be good and praying for them and trying to do all this. When we hear things like this, we want to address the issue, and we should. 100%. I agree with it. I'm addressing it this way, in addition to the way that it was brought out too. And I agree with that way, by the way. I want to make that clear. This is not me posting going against what was brought out. In addition to that, I want to say we have to look at this side. This is a realistic side. And some of you that may watch this later or watch it now know that I'm telling the truth. The women that's watching this, if you are, or watching it later, you know that I'm telling the truth. The men, you know that I'm telling the truth. In our mind, man, you can't tell us not what to do. See, y'all don't even know this. Y'all don't even know this. I reached out to my father-in-law before going live. And I let him know, I'm like, look, I might go live because I've been teaching about this for years. And he will comment if he watched this later. I said, me and your daughter, I've been teaching about it before her. She been teaching about it with me. We've been teaching about it together. I want to bring this side out because I don't know that it's going to be brought out. It needs to be brought out. Both sides has to be brought out. It is people that might be just commenting on the first side that was brought out, which is a good side. It's not wrong. But it's a lot of people, and I don't know them personally, but I can guarantee you, 75% of them may be moving individually on their own, doing the very things that will cause them to be in the same situation as those that went through the harm and the hurt, if they haven't already. But when I'm saying to you that it doesn't matter if it's monogamy or polygyny, if we don't have this structure that I talked about in the first part of this, because this is the second part, you're going to have to go to the first part to get what was brought out. And I hope you do. But if we don't address that, it's going to continue happening. There's more monogamy relationships than polygyny relationships in our community and in the so-called black people community. So why are we failing the same way? Because of this. No one can tell us anything. No one can tell us anything. And I'm not trying to repeat and say the same thing. I want you to hear it. The Most High repeats over and over the same thing to us through all our scripture. And guess what? It still didn't work for most of us. So me talking right now, I'm hoping it reach everybody, but I know it's not. But I do hope it reach 1 or 2 people. Just 1 or 2. And then they can produce and get it to reach to others and just get 1 or 2. So let's keep reading. We have to look at that point. No matter the things that we say that may be true, there's another side that's true as well. All right. So ignorance of true covenant principles. I stated that those things are not understood in our community. It's not even understood outside of our community because we are moving individually. And true covenantal principles in this context is dealing with Bnei Yisrael as a whole, because these instructions that we have been given is for all of us so that we can thrive collectively and so that we won't harm one another. That's what it's for. So we won't harm one another. Here we go. This is the last one. Poor discernment in choosing partners and reverence for the Most High. Right? Some people say partners. So choosing suitors and all of these different terms we want to use. We definitely don't say partners in my home. But poor discernment in choosing and reverence for the Most High. Choosing without spiritual discernment or fear of the Most High increases vulnerability to relational pain and covenantal failure. Reverence of the Most High will get you to understand, especially if you're someone that actually studies, that you need accountability. You need someone that's going to be in your ear and say, no, you shouldn't go forward with this man. But let's be real. Or no, you shouldn't go forward with this woman. But let's be real. We're going to go forward with who we want to go forward with, no matter what anyone says in 2025. Back then, right, in 500 BC, 400 BC, that was different. Even getting close to the 1st century, that was different. Even in after the 200 or 300, that was different. But 2025, you got to have a heart and a mind for wanting to truly serve the Supreme King, a heart and a mind to truly move righteously in your culture. It's tempting not to do that. It's tempting for us not to do it. That's why we're doing it. And there's no consequences. The only consequences is the result of the decision that we made. This goes for me. This goes for anyone. So yes, I'm going to close out with this because this has been 40 minutes. It looks like 43 minutes. I'm going to close out because I want you all to have the opportunity to watch the first one if you choose. So I really expounded a lot more on the first 9 that I read for you on this part right here. So you'll get an idea of what I really said. But the only thing that I can encourage those that's watching is hopefully you're not one of the people that got done wrong, that was treated, wickedness was done to you, unrighteousness was done to you, evilness was done to you. Hopefully you're not that individual. And if you aren't, I'm gonna get on if you are. If you aren't, if this has not happened to you yet as a woman, if you're listening to me, find someone, another elder, a woman elder, if you're not comfortable with a male elder. If it is a male elder, make sure the wife is involved. Now here, this is me saying this. This is me saying this. It's no rules on this. That's another problem. Organizations need to establish. I'm gonna go back to hopefully I don't forget because I don't have nobody with me reminding me. My Isha not on with me right now. Congregations or people that has ministries or whatever you may be a part of need to establish certain rules that can help put flesh on the skeleton, right? The Torah is the skeleton. The Ketubim and the Nebi'im, right? The writings and the prophets, that puts bodies that put flesh on the skeleton. The Torah is the foundation. But it's a lot of things that's not understood within the Torah by most people because they don't understand the cultural side of it, you know. So you have to these organizations, these leaders, these teachers, all of us, we have to make sure we are putting stuff in place to answer certain questions. The person that wrote this post, I believe he has a few books that he's writing and for the people and things like that. So that is great. Those are others that's listening to me right now. If you haven't done it, you have to do it. Start codifying these things so when the people come in, when they actually come in, you have it right in front of them to present. They should. They what are you bringing in? No, it needs to be put before them each subject so that they can have an understanding of what you're going to get into, you know, and can kind of put them in a place to where it can start guiding their life because they're coming to you for a reason. And for those of you that are not going to them, um, you're by yourself, man. So again, I hope that if the ones that have not went through this yet, find someone that can help you and guide you so you won't fall into it, or get some of their literature if they have literature for those topics, because the scripture may not open it out or bring it out in a way that you understand. That sounds crazy. What you talking about? Right? That's what y'all ask. Well, we are scribes. If we believe that we are Bnei Israel, then there are some men and some women that may be able to speak on the topic that you need help in. If you are a woman that has went through this, the first thing that I will say, and maybe the first video I may have sounded harsh. I don't believe I was, but if I was, forgive me. So I'm gonna say it a little calmer. The first thing, you know how when you go to AA, is it AA meeting or AAA meeting? No, AAA is the triple A. Sorry. So AA meeting, Alcohol Anonymous or something like that, is to admit that you have a problem. It's to admit it. See, a lot of us, we may not want to help you admit it or want to help you realize it because we just want to help. And that's good. That's cool to help. We do want to help you. But just like in those situations, if you go to counseling and things like that, they want to help you realize. Some do it quicker than others. Some make it elongated, right? To, if I'm saying using that word, right, to keep you for money purposes or whatever it might be. But the prophets and things, they didn't do that. They told you what it was, and they told you how to fix it. So one of the first things that need to be addressed to men and women is you have to realize what has been done. Yes, you were hurt, maybe even manipulated. I pray you weren't, because some of you weren't. You chose this. Some of you actually initiated it, but we won't speak on that. But some of you were manipulated. But here's the thing that I will say. Did someone try to get you not to do it? If that was you, realize that and understand that now maybe I should listen more to people that have my back. That's one side of it. Was it messages or readings that you have focused on in your studies, or that you saw that this shouldn't have been the case, that you shouldn't have went that direction? Pay attention to it going forward. We have to own up to what we did in order to truly repent, right? Repenting is knowing what you did wrong and turning away from it. That's everyone needs to repent of what they got into, either what they caused themselves or what was pushed on them. But a lot of times, especially today in 2025, we are putting ourselves in certain things. People do not want to talk about that part. It's something that could have been done or said. There's exceptions to the rules. There's exceptions to what I'm saying. You could very well have done everything right. And if you did do everything right, if you had leadership, righteous leadership, and it still happened, and that leader wasn't guiding you, checking on you, making sure they put someone around you to guard you, or that leader wasn't speaking with you and asking questions about what's going on in your life, who you're talking to, are you talking to someone? If he or she didn't do that, or if they did and you lied, like it's so many factors, so many variables, I should say. So the best way for us to overcome these things is to be who we say we are. And if we are B'nai Yisrael, or some people say Yasharel, if we're that, then we need to operate the same way that the Most High will is for us. And that's blessings, right? You are blessed when you have other people around you that can help you build, help you go over any things that's hindering you, that can guide you the proper way. That's a blessing. So blessing, life, that's another part of the Most High's will. Life is living, right? These things that you're going through as a woman, or some men too, is diminishing you. It's draining you. All these things is draining you. So you need people around you that can speak life into you. Speaking life is not just giving you affirmations. Speaking life is going over the cultural aspect of life, explaining things, the way the Most High sent his messages to explain things to us, to give us life, to give us the instructions, to give us the cultural guidance. And then the third thing in the Most High's will, blessing, life, and covenantal fulfillment, which most of us don't do when it comes to the Most High. So if you are a woman, one of the things you want to focus on doing is setting up something with an elder, man or woman, that is righteous, preferably married, right? And or a righteous organization, righteous leader that's preferably married. Fulfill a covenant. And that covenant is to watch over you. There's going to be a little bit of relinquishing autonomy for the safety of you. Now, I'm not talking about not going and driving places and all that stuff, living by yourself if you're already doing that. What I'm saying is really checking in, being a part of a community. Once you know something is about to happen, you're talking to someone, or you're doing this by yourself, or you kind of tempted to go here, reach out to that leader, that elder woman, talk to her for some hours if you have to. Like, these are the steps that you have to take for you not to go through what you've been through. These are the steps. Have boundaries. That's one of the things I said in part 1. And this goes for both men and women, but the topic is about the women right now and their protection. These are the things that can help you be protected from what has happened. And with that, I yield. I'm closing out. Don't know if anyone's going to say anything on this. You know, I wasn't looking for people to say anything, but I do hope that what was said helps. And I do hope what was said was understood. I do hope that you understood why I had to do this, bring this out. So may the Most High bless and guard you all. Yabreikum, Echwa, wa Yishmareikum. Shalom, shalom.
I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. I see a dream, that dream is green. And I don't mean material things. Freedom to the land, child, woman, and man. As as we take up for what we stand. Better days and better nights as we stand and unite. We're one and the same. Why is it so hard not to point and to blame? Better sheet, get our houses in order and we'll see the peace. There are steps that we must take if we wanna see.
I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us.
The sake of us, the sake
I
of
see
us.
my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. No more failing, telling me beneath. What a beautiful moment, and a sight I can't wait to see. Even if I miss it, at least I wasn't part of the mission. Changing lives of men, women, and children. All glory goes to He that causes us all to be. Oh, and if they're thinking we can, we show them that just as long as we stand. A monument, we the people can't be broken as long as we stay focused. I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. For the sake of us. I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. I see